Welcome back to Totally Free Gaming. Wrapping your head around the strengths and weaknesses of a class can be a daunting task in any game, and Century Age of Ashes is no exception. In this video I'll talk you through all the free classes while giving some tips and pointers about how to play each one of them. The Marauder is a great beginner's class. His main job is to deal damage while also being able to take a beating. If you're just looking to take to the skies and hunt down some kills, then the Marauder is a safe bet. One of the things that makes the Marauder really strong is his passive ability called Relentless Predator. What this does for you is it recharges your ability and power whenever you get a kill, basically letting you get straight back into action with your full toolset at your disposal. This means you don't have to be afraid to use your skills to hunt down that kill. Marauder's power is called Hunter's Mark and it's really strong. When you use this on an enemy, they become marked. This means you'll be able to track them using this icon to see where they are. As if that wasn't enough, he'll also be unleashing a flurry of fireballs for extra damage, instead of just the one whenever you attack them. I recommend using this on enemies that you're fairly certain you can both hit and kill. If you don't, you won't trigger your passive ability and you'll have to wait for it to recharge normally. The Marauder's Rage is basically just Hunter's Mark Ultimate Edition. It's called Hunter's Fury and it will mark every enemy on the map with your Hunter's Mark, meaning you'll be able to see where every enemy is and you'll also be dealing extra damage to them with your flurry of fireballs. Whenever you get the kill while your rage is active, you extend its duration. This rage is insane. Pop it and go wild. As all of the classes do, the Marauder gets to choose between two abilities. One offensive one and one defensive. Both of them are pretty straightforward to use. The Frost Bolts are the offensive options. This sends out 3 projectiles that deal high shield damage. If you instead use it on an unshielded enemy, you limit their steering for a little while, leaving them vulnerable to attacks. The Frost Bolts are a strong option together with your Hunter's Mark, as you can use it to break down enemies' shields before you mark them and unleash a killing blow with your now empowered Fireball. Gust is your defensive option, which destroys all fireballs that's currently locked onto you and makes sure no enemies can lock onto you for a short while. You'll also regain 1 point of stamina for every fireball you destroy. I recommend going for Gust if you haven't mastered the art of dodging yet. If you need help dodging, I have a tip for you at the end of the video. The Phantom is the class for you if you like to play stealthy. His strength comes from being able to take enemies by surprise while also planting traps around the map. He does however have a lower health pool than the other classes, so try not to be up in your opponent's faces too much. Stay out of sight and swoop in at the right time. The Phantom's passive ability is called Guard Shatter and it doesn't do much more than make you deal more damage to enemy shields. Not much to say about this one. Your power as the Phantom is called Mystic Shroud, and this is where his uniqueness kicks in. Activating it makes you practically invisible, at least to faraway enemies. Enemies that see you go into stealth from up close should still be able to see you relatively easy. You stay invisible until you use another ability or attack, or you get attacked by an enemy. However, if you do attack an enemy from stealth, you do so with a more powerful fireball than normal. Use this to take your enemies by surprise. They won't know what hit them. The Phantom's Rage is quite straightforward. You become invincible and untargetable for the duration of your rage, while your fireballs deal increased damage. Feel free to go absolutely nuts during this rage. This rage doesn't get increased time from kills however, so use it while it lasts. The Phantom's choices for an ability are both offensive ones. The Mine is unique to the Phantom and acts as an explosive trap you can place around the map. These trigger when an enemy comes close enough, which makes it explode. Try to place these close to strategic locations, like the enemy's coffers and spoils of war, where you know they'll be flying in and out from a lot. Remember that using this will break your stealth, so I recommend planting your mine before going into stealth. The Blast is an ability that the Phantom shares with the Windguard. It requires a bit more skill to use, but it is a strong option once you master it. This is a free fire projectile that you can't lock onto enemies with. Once you shoot it, you're able to press the button again, at which time it explodes and unleashes a shockwave. This shockwave damages and disorients opponents, while it also dissipates the smoke unleashed by Windguards and snaps other Phantoms out of their stealth, if they're close enough. If you don't trigger it yourself, it will explode when hitting a surface. This takes a while to get used to, seeing as it can be hard to perceive depth in the game. I've triggered the blast many times when it looks like it's straight on top of an enemy, but in reality it's far away. The Windguard functions as a classic support class and it's also my favorite. She's able to both heal and shield teammates and also make her teammates go berserk. If you want to make sure teammates stay alive and are fit to fight, then this is the class for you. The Windguard's passive ability is called Skeldian Resolve. It makes you less affected by the knockback and disorientation from shockwaves and other negative status effects in general, like the limited movement of the Marauder's Frostbolts. Her power is called Salvation Surge. To activate this, you need to target a teammate, at which point you rush towards them, giving both them and yourself a shield and a heal. While this power is strong for doing simply that, it can be used pretty strategically as well. If you see a teammate in distress, you should of course swoop in to save them. However, you can also use this to get out of a pickle yourself, seeing as it makes you move pretty fast. You can get from one side of the battlefield to the other in a matter of seconds without using your stamina. It can also be used to bag your gold in Spoils of War, granting you some extra shield for the next collection run. The Windguard's Rage is, like with the Marauder, the ultimate addition of her power. In addition to its base effect, it will now make your teammates berserk as well. In case you didn't know, berserk grants your teammates a full heal, 150 points of shield, and it empowers both their fireballs and their fire breaths. What the game doesn't tell you though is that your own fireball now turns blue and has a wildly decreased cooldown, pretty much granting you a free kill. Make sure you don't use your rage selfishly though, as having a berserkering teammate can be a game changer. For her ability, the Windguard can choose between the smoke trail and the blast. I already explained how blast works when talking about the Phantom, so I won't be going over that again. The smoke trail, however, releases a trail of poisonous smoke behind you, which makes it harder for enemies to see and also prevents them from targeting you. It also deals a little bit of damage to opponents who stay in it. This skill can be quite powerful while holding strategic items like the Vault Breacher or the Vault Key, or you can simply use it to get out of a pickle. Now you're probably wondering how you can get better at dodging. I go over this in my tips and tricks video, but here's a few pointers. Slam your brakes, turn and boost away. Your brakes are your main tool in dodging. Try to use the surroundings to your advantage, as putting something between you and the enemy makes you untargetable. By simply braking and standing still though, you can turn the combat by suddenly finding yourself behind the enemy. I hope this can help you on your way. If this video was helpful, please drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for more content related to Century Age of Ashes and free-to-play gaming in general. This was Totally Free Gaming, and I'll be seeing you.